Hello, my name is Devin. My YouTube channel is Dear G Bros, and today I'm going to be talking to you about maps and cardinality. Now, cardinality is actually going to be the video after this, so I have the maps video. You gotta watch it first in order to understand. So, a map, in its simplest description, is a collection of numbers that is in one way related to another. You've actually probably seen common examples of this, like like early math problems might include like a table like this. So we have x and y, 1, 2, 3, 3, 6, 9, like an in-out table. What happens to each of these numbers as it's related to that? That's its easiest form. As a map, we could write it actually like this. So we have a set of numbers 1, 2, and 3, and a set 3, 6, and 9, and they're all related to each other. See how that works? We can also write this as a graph. So if we did a graph like this, make the base a bit longer, we have 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to kind of space this out. 3, 6, and 9. We could put a point here, a point here, and a point here, since 2 and 6 end up. And by the same rules, we could always draw, if there was a way to do this, we could always draw a line in it, and it kind of looks interesting. Now, it has to have like a way to do it, but like we could draw something like in this video and in like all the videos going after it, at least for a little while, I'm only going to be using sets of numbers 1, 2, and 3. Okay, but the lines don't have to be straight. They can be like that. Or they could be like that. There doesn't even have to be all the lines. Now, I'm going to kind of specify certain types of maps first before I go into detail. Now, there are 3 different types or submaps of maps. There's 4 types, but only 3 subsets. So first off is the map. The map has no restrictions whatsoever. You don't even have to know the formula to get from like this to this. You just have to know, like, you basically just got to put groups of numbers that they're related to each other. So something like this could be a map. Okay, so I'm going to actually label it. So map, no restriction. Then there's a form called a function. And you've also probably seen functions as well, depending on where you are, what your age is, and how you were educated at the time of watching this video. Now, a function for any, I'm going to write this down too, for any input, there is only one output. So I forgot to mention this. Maps can be like this. So I'm gonna actually push this up a bit. So we could have like 1, 2, 1, 2. A map could be like this. There can be more like this. Like there can be more than one input for every output, and there can be more than one output for every input. Like in this case, 1 has an output of 1 and 2. 2 has an output of 1. And even in the case of this one, like 1 has an output of 1. 2 doesn't have an output. 3 doesn't have an output. Or instead of like not having an output, mathematicians refer to this as undefined. There is no defined output for any input. So a function could be like that. Okay? Next, we have what's known as an onto function, an onto map. Now, an onto map is where every input has an output. It doesn't matter how many, there just has to be one. So it could be like this, so this one right here, this can't be an onto map because numbers 2 and 3 are undefined. Onto maps, there has to be an output for any input. So I'm going to write that down as well. I'm going to just write no undefined numbers. All right. There's one more type, and that is a one-to-one. Something like that. Now, a function can only have one output for every input, but there's no limit on how many outputs can be to an input. So something like this, let's say maybe, say all of these had an answer of 1. All of them computed to 1. Maybe it could be the number divided by itself. So in this case, that would be a function, but not a one-to-one. A one-to-one can only have one going to each one. So something like this, maybe. I don't know. I'm kind of just making these up. A one-to-one, only one input and one output are paired. And that's essentially the basics of maps. Now there's one more thing I want to review before I end this video. And that's something called a map space. So I'm going to actually map space. Not space as in like outer space, but a space in mathematics, which is a collection. So this map space has like every possible map that exists. And inside of that map space, there are 3 other map spaces. You want to take a guess what those are? That's right. It's the functions, the ontos, and the one-to-ones. Because they're all maps. It's like the rectangle and the square paradox. A square can be a rectangle, but a rectangle can't be a square. In this same case, a function, all functions are maps, but not all maps are functions. Thank you for watching this video, and hopefully I'll see you for another video later on.